everybody. Welcome to the Eat the Hatchet post game. I'm your host, Steve, and the Blackhawks hosted the New Jersey Devils and lost 5-3. And this one is kind of a frustrating loss, which I'll get to in a second. But first, I'll just briefly cover some of the stats and get that out of the way first. So, shots on goal, Blackhawks had the advantage, 24 shots to 20 shots for the New Jersey Devils, and that's because once the Devils got a lead, they were protecting their lead. So it's not as if the Blackhawks had a dominant game, and I'll get to the fancy stats in a little bit. Devils dominated the Blackhawks at the faceoff dot, winning 62% of their faceoffs. The Devils scored off both power plays. One of them I will talk about. And then the Blackhawks converted one of two power plays. The Devils had 29 hits. The Blackhawks had 16. Devils had 14 blocked shots. The Blackhawks had 10. The Devils had 10 giveaways. The Blackhawks had 19. Devils had 4 takeaways, and the Chicago Blackhawks had 3. And for the fancy stats, so let's see here. Blackhawks, their Corsi was 48, so they owned 48% of the shot attempts at 5-on-5, and actually that's 49 if we're rounding up, but not that it really matters. Their best period was the second period, where they had a 58 Corsi, and then first period they had a 42, third period 48 Corsi. They owned, let's see, the expected goal share. So they had a pretty bad expected goal share for the Blackhawks. They had 32% of the expected goals going their way. The Devils had a 68% expected goal share, and that kind of just shows the quality of the scoring chances that each team had, which the Devils had a much better shot attempts, expected goals. And looking at the heat map, the Blackhawks were pushed out of the. The heat map I'm looking at, by the way, is for 5-on-5 shot attempts and shots and goals. So, if you look at the heat map, you got where the Blackhawks were shooting in the offensive zone. The slot, the center of the ice where you want to be in is pretty empty. All of their chances and shots were pushed to the perimeter. The Devils, they were pushed mostly to the right side of the ice, and a lot of their shot attempts and shots were like down low by the crease. So this game was it is what it is. It was gonna go either one way, where the Blackhawks were either gonna somehow pull a win out of their ass, and the Devils were or the Devils were going to absolutely blow out the Blackhawks. And the Hawks actually had a chance to come back late in the third. It should have been tied at one point, but that's not how it happened. So, just real quick, looking at my notes, I'm not going to go in detail of all this stuff. Tomorrow sometime I'll have an article out on ontapsportsnet.com just recapping the game, and I'll push the link out through my Substack. Maybe, we'll see. Depends. But first period, the Blackhawks started things pretty okay. They were good on the forecheck. At times, they were looking really solid. They had a great shift by Bedard with Frank Nazar and Ryan Donato, and that first goal that the Devils scored on, which was scored by let's see real quick. I want to say it was Bastian. Yeah, Nathan Bastian. That was just right off the face-off dot, and White Kaiser, he kind of just left the back door open. That was his assignment. He should have absolutely been more aggressive there, but Kaiser had a better game as the night went on. but that one's on Kaiser. And then right away, Pat Maroon he gets penalized, and then the Devils score right away. So I think it was something like 20 seconds later, about there, like 23 seconds. The Devils scored again, 2-0, and then the Blackhawks go on the power play after Tyler Bertuzzi draws a penalty, and he scores a goal. It was a really nice one after a Ryan Donato stick lift, pass the puck to Bertuzzi, who is right there where he normally is, right up in front of the goaltender, scored. 2-1, goes into the second period. And right away we get a great chance by Frank Nazar. I thought he had an excellent game tonight. He drew a penalty, and then the Devils scored a shorthanded goal by Palat. And that one was just Knight was screened by Pat Maroon. Just not a great penalty. Power play overall. Looked like the Blackhawks were trying to do a little too much, and I don't know what was going on, to be honest. So at that point, it's 3-1, and then Ilya Mikheyev, he scores off of a nice feed from Teuvo Teravainen. That was a great pass from outside the right face-off circle across the slot into Mikheyev's hands, or I guess his stick, and then he scores. And then Ryan Donato, he looked like he tied the game 3-3, but that goal was waived. It was deemed to be a high stick, so we didn't get a tied goal. I thought that was kind of bullshit, but it is what it is. And then we get a beautiful chance from Connor Bedard, and there's a weird play by the Devils defenseman, Nemec. He is like bullying Connor Bedard to the ground, and then Bedard's like kind of holding onto his stick. Landon Slager immediately goes in to defend Bedard, and the refs, they call a penalty. Their hands up in the air or arms up in the air for a penalty. You think, two players are getting something, but they wave off the penalty that would have gone to Bedard because he was holding onto Nemec's stick. And then Landon Slager, he gets a minor for I think it was roughing, but it was a stupid penalty. Nothing drawn for the Blackhawks, and then the Devils score on that power play. And I'll have more on this with Sorensen's thoughts. So third period, Bedard's line gets stuck in the defensive zone for some time. We did see Connor Bedard play a shift with Teuvo Teravainen and Ilya Mikheyev. Fourth line had a solid third period. Something I didn't like was the Blackhawks, when they were down at this point 4-2, they were clogging the neutral zone, doing like a 1-2-2. In the offensive zone, they were at times forechecking with a 2-1-2, which you want to see, but they were not playing an aggressive game. I'm not gonna that's not my biggest gripe, but Sorensen did do an aggressive goalie pull at 4 minutes and 8 seconds. So that was a little surprising to see. He pulled Knight, and then we get a great shot from Artem Levshinov, who shoots through traffic. It was a really nice shot from the point, and then Nazar's right there to collect the rebound and score. So now we're down 4-3. It looks like the Blackhawks are going to tie it. They got a lot of great chances. They had a great effort, but they just couldn't get it done. And then the Devils ended up sealing the deal, scoring an empty net goal, 5-3. Devils win. And then do want to note, Sorensen actually used a timeout for once. He called a timeout with 33 seconds left, so I'll give him my kudos to that. But yeah, overall, this game is what it is, right? It's the Devils. They're, like I said in my preview, they're pissed off because they're on a 3-game losing streak. They haven't been playing very well. So they're going to try to take advantage of the Blackhawks and get a win out of them. But He was, asked about the penalty that wasn't called for Connor Bedard, and this is from Ben Pope from the Chicago Sun-Times. He quoted Andrew Sorensen, basically, you know, why aren't you more vocal towards the refs in these kinds of situations? Because it looked like Sorensen didn't have much to say. And this is his quote. I just don't know what to gain out of it. They've made their call. They're probably not going to change it. You can try to talk to them in TV timeouts to get an explanation that way instead. Coming across yelling is probably not going to help the situation, right? Try to build a relationship and talk to them. I think that will go a longer way down the road. So, he's not wrong, right? First of all, you're not going to change the refs' minds. Like, once they make the call for a penalty, you can't take that back. You can't. So, sure, you're right. And, yeah, like, if you're going to talk to them during a TV timeout, whenever that's, they're kind of, on schedule, I guess. So, when the next one's going to come. But, no, this is a complete bullshit answer. And Sorensen needs to, even if it's lip service, you need to be passionate, right? Like, your star player is literally getting bullied. And this is a problem with the team where you see them where Bedard's been, he's getting pushed around and he's the only one that's, there to defend himself. And maybe one of the younger guys sees it, like Frank Nazar might jump in, or tonight, Landon Slager jumps in. But for the most part, you don't really see a whole lot of fight back. And I think it starts from the head coach, because this is the mentality that he has. And I get, logically, yes, it makes sense. Sure, you want to build a relationship down the road, whatever. I don't think you have a road in the NHL right now, but, it makes sense. But, that's not, this is an aggressive sport, and you need to have an aggressive mindset. So if you're just letting your star get bullied, you need to show that, one, you're not going to be happy and accept that. And two, you need to let the players know that you have their back, that you give a shit about them. So what I got from tonight was, Sorensen, he doesn't have the right mindset for the NHL. And I've said it before, he knows way more about hockey than I will ever know, just because of the fact that, one, he's coaching in the NHL, period. However, I'm going to criticize the fact that I don't think he's aggressive enough. He's, you can see it on the ice. His tactics, they're very, they shelter up. It's not as bad as Luke Richardson was, but still. And, this quote right here just kind of proves that Andrew Sorensen needs to be more aggressive, and this kind of personality or mentality, it leaks to your players, because you're the head coach, you're a leader, right? That's going to spread. But I don't know. I could also be just totally wrong about that too, because I literally watched this game on my couch. So, and yeah. But enough about that. Is pretty much all I had to say. I did want to comment on the broadcast. I guess I'll just say it anyways. I'm not going to be too critical, but Kaylee Chelios is the color. Please just let the play-by-play Rick Ball do his job. And this is not just on Chelios. This is a theme across a lot of NHL broadcasts where they're talking way too damn much. And, she wasn't letting... And you could tell he was trying to call his plays, and she would just have a lot of things to say, and it was leaking into the play. And it's not a give and take conversation where Rick Ball says something and then you say something. You just let Rick call the play, call what's going on the ice, so we know what's going on. Wait, and then when there's a good pause, then you can throw in some actual analysis that you see, right? Give me something to take away other than, something oh, Connor Bedard, took the puck in deep. It doesn't tell me anything. And maybe that sounds too critical, but, I was listening to Troy on WGN, when I was driving down from work, and like the stuff that he gives on the radio broadcast is like it's incredible. You learn a lot, but that's all I'll say about that. I don't know. That was that game, and yeah, it's gonna be a rough end of the season. The next game for the Blackhawks is going to be on Friday, where they take on the Las Vegas Golden Knights at 7:30 p.m. CT. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Let's go Hawks or something.